Obviously, you are a veteran, to say the least, of markets and specifically credit markets and dealing with those credit markets. When you look at financial conditions as they stand right now, what type of effect are you seeing on your business, if at all?
I would say things are better than you're reporting. We've checked with all our bank lenders. Nobody's feeling like they're going to do anything stupid because the Fed lowered LIBOR rates and their cost of funds has hovered more or less constant. They have infinite access to capital. They're not going to cause this problem. The banks aren't really in tremendous duress. So, we're pretty comfortable with our credit exposure. I actually literally went through our investments this morning, all day yesterday. We'll continue after this meeting or after this interview. So, real estate in general is a slow process to adjust to conditions. But, we're facing World War III for 90 days. It's not World War III for 5 years or World War III for 10 years. It's going to be a 90-day gap. I appreciate everything on the earlier interviews where they said, get the money to the Americans who need it. You don't need a payroll tax cut. That assumes you had a job. People are going to get laid off by the tens of thousands, if not millions, for 3 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, but they'll be back at work as soon as we can rehire them. And what we ought to do is give each of those 20 million people in the service industries that are going to lose their jobs $5,000. It's $100 billion. We don't need to make these trillion-dollar facilities available to banks. We need to get the money to the people who are unemployed. So they should change their focus in Washington and focus on the tragedy that's unfolding in front of us. I am in Miami. They just announced they're closing the restaurants. Every mom and dad restaurant needs a life support. They need a little money to get through this little gap. It's going to be short, and it's going to pass.
Very.
So people are panicking, and it's kind of it's a shame.
So what of the other industries that are really struggling from this crisis right now? We had the airlines asking for more than $50 billion in aid, other people asking for packages towards other industries like travel and entertainment. What do you believe the Trump administration should do for industries outside of the airlines that are being impacted?
Again, let's focus on the hotel industry, which is one of the largest employers in the country, and maybe even retail in general. They employ something like 15 or 16 million people each. There's no choice for American Airlines or for Marriott or Hilton to lay off workers because there's no guests in the hotels, partly because the government shut them. So the money must go first to the individuals who can't afford to eat. They must eat. So the money should go directly to these people. And these discussion about a payroll tax cut is so stupid. It's $1 trillion, and you have to be employed to be a beneficiary of that. That's not the issue. The issue is the people that are unemployed or will become unemployed. So for me, I think the government needs to focus on real aid packages to the people that are most distressed. The industries themselves, the companies, if the banks behave themselves, the companies won't be under too much strain if we're talking about 90 to 120 days. And maybe they should turn the market off for 2 weeks and let us get through this. I mean, I'm hoping we're Korea and we're not France or Italy. Korea had 1,000 cases. In 30 days, they went from 2 cases to 1,000 cases to 76 cases or 67 cases. So they've gone in 30 days, and yesterday you heard the president say, I think erroneously, that this could last to August. I don't think this is an August issue. I'm not an expert, but I really think you have 60 days, and we'll be through a lot of this. And I really would say one other thing that is really important. Every day, though you don't talk about it too much, they're coming out with another drug that could potentially treat this. And I don't think in the history of the world have you ever had this many labs, this many people focused on a cure or a vaccine with technology that didn't even exist 10 years ago. So I'm pretty optimistic that this long slide to oblivion that people are looking at is going to be shorter. And we have to like hold together and act as one, and we're going to be fine. But it's going to be painful. It is World War III for 90 days.